us.
Thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't do awards very well, as you can see. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to thank the NHCC Foundation. I would like to thank this wonderful institution. It's where I got my start. I'd like to thank the nursing department. Kudos to the nursing department. Come on, I'll give a hand clap for that. I would like to thank Tom Lynch from Access Services and Mary Sladek. Just thank you guys for your nominations and just to even consider myself. There's so many people out there doing wonderful things and amazing things, and I just feel humbled and truly honored that someone would look at what I'm doing and see it as amazing or spectacular, because there's so much work to be done. And I feel that all of us, in our own ways, we do what we can to make this world better, and that's what we should do. We work and we operate within our skill set that we're given. So I want to encourage you guys. In 2017, I graduated from the nursing program. I was the commencement speaker, and I shared from the late Reverend Ted Austin, my father, to pay attention to your experiences. And I'm sharing that with you today. Pay attention to your experiences, because it is your experiences that will launch you to do the things that you are called to do. Divine appointment. See, my life felt random, completely random. Started my college journey over 20 years ago. Okay. Just saying, just saying. I got mistaken for my daughter today, so, And I was a communications and theater major. That's what I started out as. And then later on in life, working and raising a family. I have 4 children. My oldest, Jeremiah, is not here today. He is at Mankato State. He started out at North Hennepin, where it was during the pandemic, but we got to see his name flash across the screen, and we cheered him on. But he's at Mankato State now, working towards his ultimate goal of becoming a judge and sitting on that bench and being a person of color on the bench. So thank you, North Hennepin, for starting his journey to greatness. But I tell you to pay attention to your experiences, because what you may see as random in your life is actually divine purpose. I'm sitting here as a mother, and I got kids, and then I've got certificates and degrees in early childhood education, theological studies, and sign language, and different fields, and you're like, this seems so random. How does it all fit together? What is it I'm supposed to do in life? So I'm teaching, and as I'm teaching, one of my students is aware that, one of my students, actually their parents, is aware that I have a nursing assistant background certification, and that was going to expire, and I did not want to expire. My parents taught me well. They taught me to make sure that you keep on top of all your certifications and keep current. I had great parents. And so this parent's like, hey, why don't you work at the hospital I work at? I work at Methodist Hospital. Maybe you could work a couple hours. I just wanted to work just to maintain my nursing assistant certification, but my heart was teaching. I said, I'm a teacher. So as I'm working night shift at the hospital here and there, and then I'm working days teaching and raising 4 children and being a wife, and my husband and I, yes, we were involved in youth ministry, active in that. My boss came to me and said, Jeanette, I think you should be a nurse. No, I'm a teacher, not a nurse. Like, no, I'm not. No, you're wrong. I can't go back to school. I'm too old. I got all my kids. I'm tired. I've got all stuff going on. And she kept saying, Jeanette, no, I think you're supposed to become a nurse. So later, I signed up at North Hennepin Community College. I had a girlfriend of mine that went before me, Shantae Gills-Gransberry, and I watched her go through the program. And I knew that North Hennepin's program was bar none. I knew that it was exceptional. And so starting this program, I started with a good friend of mine, Sarah's back there. kudos to Sarah. And we were literally in the grind. We were in the night weekend program. And as we're in the evening weekend program, we're working during the day, feeding our children, on that grind, having the support that we need came from here. Because no way we would have been able to make it had we not connected with the wonderful faculty and the wonderful staff that helped us get to where we needed to be. I'm in the office of a nursing instructor, Miss Dana, and she, sitting in her office, just trying to wrap my brain around how am I going to get through this nursing program. And she said, Jeanette, you're destined for greatness. I believe that you can do this. You can do this. You have no idea the potential that you carry. And when someone speaks into your life and says, you have no idea the potential that you carry, it stirs something up within you. That seed that's planted starts to move and churn. And so I started to remember these experiences that I'm having as I'm where I am now. So I'm in the middle of George Floyd Square. Minneapolis is in an unrest. Buildings are burning, people are protesting. The knee of an officer was placed on the neck of a black man, and he was murdered. A couple blocks from where I was born and raised. My mother, back there, honor to my mom, Dr. Judy Austin, she raised 6 children right there on 38th Street. I was the oldest. I have a sister that grew up in Chicago, but the oldest of the 6 children. And in that time, we didn't know what to do. But my mother told us, use your skill set, use your gifting, use whatever that God has called you to do to serve your community and to help. And so my sister came to me and said, Jeanette, there's a pop-up med tent. I think you can help. So I'm there serving and helping on nights or days and working opposite shift, 12 hours in the hospitals. Because remember, we're in a pandemic. COVID ICU. I became a nurse because my journey started here at North Hennepin. So as I'm working in the med tent and I'm wearing the stethoscope, and a little girl looks up to me, big brown eyes. She's with her mother. They came to our med tent for mutual aid and support. They needed water and sanitary napkins and things that they couldn't get because the stores were on fire and the access wasn't there. And so as her mother is getting the supplies that she needed, I'm looking at this girl and she's just staring at me and staring at me. So I said, okay. I bend down and crouched to her level and I said, hi, honey. What can I do for you? She looked at me and she said, are you a doctor? She's staring at my stethoscope. And I looked at her and I said, I'm not a doctor, honey. I'm a nurse. But I want you to know that whatever it is that you desire to be, I believe that you can push for that and that it won't be out of reach for you. You can do it. She looked at me and smiled. Her mom came out, was like, oh, child, and just grabbed her child, started storming off. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. And stormed off. No, it's okay. Because representation matters. When I was going to the doctor as a kid, I didn't see nurses and doctors that looked like me. In fact, I wanted to be Jackie Joyner when I was a kid, because that's who I saw. The long fingernails and the track star, the Olympian. I don't know if you guys remember her, but she was an Olympic track star. And I figured, yes, I could be that, because I saw it. So it was that point that I knew how important it was to me to be visible, for people to see. So I paid attention to my experiences. And my experience told me that the foundation that North Hennepin gave me, called me for such a time as this, I would have not told you in a million years that I would be an ICU nurse working in a pandemic. So in 2017, when I finally graduated, after reluctantly taking the advice of my boss who said, Jeanette, you need to be a nurse. She didn't know, and I didn't know, that what I thought was random, all these random degrees and certificates, was divine purpose, that I needed to transition of where I am now and transition to what I am supposed to be. So I want to encourage you, it's not too late. Those of you who are older or who are well seasoned in your life and feel like, have I been forgotten about? Is there anything left for me? You're not forgotten about. To those of you who work here, thank you. Thank you for investing and the students here, whether you teach, whether you give, whether you work in the office, thank you. Because I stand here today because of the solid work and the contribution that North Hennepin has had invested in me. Because I was able to go on to Metro State and get my BSN and able to go on further. I get interviewed all the time and people say, oh, what school did you go to? I don't know what they're expecting, but they might be expecting these big Ivy League names, or I don't know what their eyes just kind of look a little interesting when I say, oh yeah, I went to North Hennepin Community College. They are asleep on this school. They are asleep on this school. This school produces good stock. Not only that, pay attention to your experience. I took a class. I had to take a statistics class to graduate. Oh, I love statistics. We all love statistics. And I dreaded it. And I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it. My microbiology professor was like, you need to be a doctor. You can do the work. And I'm like, but I don't want to do it. I don't like microbiology, but I would get an A in it. So I was one of those things that you have to take statistics. Like, put it off. Graduated with a 2-year, and I knew that I probably should have taken it before I graduated, but went on to 4-year, and I didn't sneak by. They said, you have to take it. So I'm at Metro State, and I decided to take the statistics course where I came from, right back home, here at North Hennepin. That year, they had a brand new statistics class that had never existed. It was a social justice statistics class taught by Deanne Newborg. Never heard of it, but I signed up for it. Pay attention to your experiences. It was that class that taught me the statistical significance or insignificance of the social justice issues that plague our Black and brown community and have done so for hundreds and hundreds of years. I'm here to fight 2 pandemics. I don't have to choose COVID-19, because before COVID-19, racism plagued our communities. That virus ate at our core. And so I learned in that class the very experiences that I lived and that people that looked like me lived. I had the statistics and the information to back it up. I learned that right here at North Hennepin. And here it is, years later, working in social justice, working in activism, working alongside my friend Joy, who's here today, as we serve our communities. I could sit up on stage with pomp and circumstance and with the dignitaries, the other reverends at events, which they've asked, and they've had chairs set aside for me. And I said, no, it's not my place. My place is on the floor, on my knees, picking up snotty tissues of family members who lost loved ones, stolen lives, whether it's police brutality, whether it's gang violence, whatever it is out there. We're here to serve, and I learned that. I paid attention to my experiences. So I want to tell you today, not only do you need to pay attention to your experiences, but know that representation matters. What you sowed into my life, Tom, with Access Services, he showed me that I have a superpower. What people might see as a disability is a superpower. I felt empowered and inspired. So when I go and speak to those other children, those same seeds that Tom sowed into me, I now can sow into them and say, don't look at what your obstacles are as a roadblock. You can do it. You've got this. It is your superpower, not your disability. You stand strong on those giftings and those skill sets that you have. North Hennepin taught me that. Gentleman by the name of Johnny had a very, very, very sick, critical disease just recently. And he said that I could share this with you. He said he had a Black care team, an infectious disease doctor. And he said seeing that representation, seeing someone that looked like him, he said he felt like his soul was cared for. He felt like his soul was cared for. So thank you, North Hennepin, for caring for my soul and for caring for the souls of others. I stand before you today not only as a BIPOC woman working in the healthcare field and serving in the community, but also one who invests. You had about 7 nursing students a few years ago that I was called and said, they're struggling. BIPOC, they're struggling. Can you help encourage them? And I know the barriers and the challenges that they face. So being there to help them, walk them alongside, I knew the importance Because guess what? They are here today, serving and being that familiar face so that another girl who looks at the stethoscope and sees that brown face or that face that looks like them knows that they can too be a healthcare hero, or they too can be a nurse or radiologist or anesthesiologist or anything that they desire to be. So I want to close and let you know to pay attention to your experience. You're not forgotten about. Thank you for those of you who've invested and continue to invest. I stand here today because of you who serviced and gave and nurtured my soul. Thank you.